which takes us to our next speaker, who is Julie Thorpe, who is the Centre Manager for the Todmorden Learning Centre and Community Hub, or TLC, as it's affectionately known. It's a really exciting project combining kind of community hub with school for sustainability skills, and there'll be a climate change faculty, and in the first year teaching kind of young apprentices skills around nature building, agroecology and energy. So this is a really exciting piece of the kind of skills and training agenda. I feel very excited to have Julie speaking. I'd shared the programme with a friend who lives in London, who said, Julie Thorpe is speaking. Oh my gosh, what a local legend. I was like, wow. Yes, yes, she is. So without further ado, I'm very happy to have Julie speaking to us.
Yeah, great. Well, it's lovely to be here. Not that I've had to go anywhere to get here today, like everybody else. Hopefully, what I'm going to talk about just for the next few minutes is going to pick up where Jeff just finished, talking about how we actually begin to transform our local economy to bring about a situation where we've got green jobs for all, and where we're actually implementing the ideas that are all brought together under the umbrella of the Green New Deal. Climate Challenge College, what's it all about? Well, I need to start telling you a little bit about the background to TLC, I think, because whilst I've noticed that there's loads of people on here from the Upper Valley, there is a story behind the Climate Challenge College that puts it into context. Back in 2016, Calderdale Council made it clear that they were no longer able to continue to fund and run the Todmorden Community College, which houses a whole range of services and activities for the local community, including adult education services. As a result, a local campaign was initiated to save the college building, save it from demolition to make way for yet another supermarket. A dedicated band of local people campaigned very hard over a couple of years to get the council to change its plans and agree to transfer the building to the community as an asset transfer. Campaign was then transformed into a cooperative organisation, a Society for the Benefit of the Community, a BENCOM, to take over and manage the building. And since then, there have been 3 years of planning, negotiating, fundraising, lots of disappointments along the way, deferrals of dates. Then there have been floods and more recently plagues. Just about everything you could throw at a project has been thrown at this one. But last autumn, thanks to support from Calderdale Council's cabinet, we now know that we're on target to actually have the handover of the building taking place at the end of March this year. That's literally a couple of months away now. So everything's getting very exciting. The building itself was built in the 1950s. It's got a certain sort of 50s, 60s iconic look about it. It's a very sound building structurally, and we're looking forward to being able to restore it to a bit of its former glory. It does need literally what we can offer, some TLC to improve the facilities there again back to their former state. We've already managed to raise some of the money we need to do that work, and we're very optimistic that there'll be further funding coming our way from the Towns Fund. So what's the Climate Challenge College? Well, CCC is going to be what we've called a faculty within the Todmorden Learning Centre, because in addition to the broad community remit that TLC has, we haven't lost sight of the original aim, which was of developing a centre for education for sustainability. and a climate crisis response. I've brought a quote along as well, this one from an advisor to the UK government, pointing out that whilst the UK's done well in the power sector in beginning to transition to a net zero emissions economy, it's very, very long way behind the curve in the built environment, transport and agricultural sectors. And that there's a huge amount of work to be done in those sectors if they are going to be made net zero. There have been recent announcements about large sums of money for greening industry and public investments post-COVID. But the question is, how are those things going to be delivered where such a massive skills gap exists? I thought it was interesting, Jeff said that people know how to retrofit. Well, some people know how to retrofit, that's true. But actually, an awful lot of people, even in the building industry, don't know how to retrofit properly. And there's going to be a huge number of young people who need to come into the building industry and construction industries who know nothing about retrofitting. And at the moment, there's nothing out there in the training courses that are available for young people that's going to actually be able to help them on that. So we have a big skills gap. Not only that, there's a growing body of evidence that the climate crisis is really impacting on young people's mental and emotional health. Mainly, I think, out of the sense of powerlessness. They feel there's nothing that they can do. Obviously, the climate strikes were a really, really positive action by young people, and did create much more of a sense of empowerment amongst young people. But it still leaves the question, okay, yes, you can raise the profile of the issue, but if politicians and adults are still doing nothing about it, that doesn't leave you in a very good place. There are young people out there who are asking the question, what can we do? This is really going to impact our futures. How are we going to make things different? The Climate Challenge College is one small response to that question. The quote that I've just popped on this slide was actually from a lecturer from Lancaster who's a member of our advisory panel, and she told us this the other week. Working in mainstream higher education, she's working with students, teaching them about the climate crisis, discussing the problem with them, and then the careers service at the university just tells them to go and work for Nestle or BAE Systems or whoever. And so there isn't joined up thinking about how young people's knowledge of the climate crisis actually links into what they're going to do with their lives and how they can contribute to doing something about it. There were some downsides to last year's lockdown, particularly with the Todd College asset transfer, which was held up again and again, ground to a halt completely. But for us, there was also an upside in that possibly it gave us a little bit more time to work on some funding applications. And that coincided with the National Lottery opening the first round of their Climate Action Fund. And we were very pleased indeed to be awarded a development grant from the Lottery Community Fund to begin to put the first courses for our Climate Challenge College in place. We're successful in getting funding for a 6-month-long, this is to pilot and to develop and pilot a 6-month-long introductory course, aimed mainly at young people, but potentially other people maybe unemployed people in the local economy, which explores practical skills that will be needed in the response, practical skills that the Green New Deal is going to need to roll out. and we'll need people who can actually do the work hands-on. So looking at natural building and retrofitting for energy efficiency, sustainable food production and environmental land management, repair, reuse and recycling, energy issues, including domestic energy saving. As from September this year, we expect to have our first cohort of students, with another cohort following on under the lottery funding. But we do have a longer term vision, and that is that following the pilot, we want to be able to develop a modular framework of fully accredited specialist courses, so that young people who come along to the college take an introductory course and find that they have a particular interest, say in energy generation or in environmental land management, can go on to do a specialist module in that particular field. We're also thinking about upskilling of existing tradespeople, being able to provide apprenticeships and extended work placements in the local economies. And that this will gradually lead to the development of recognised career pathways in the green economy. So that when young people are thinking about what to do when they leave Todd High School, they won't need to look any further than just down the road to where there is a cutting edge, brand new set of courses available to them that are really relevant to their future. We very much hope that the programme is going to tie in with some of the other developments that are likely to be happening in Todmorden over the next few years, with the investment from the Towns Fund, and that the graduates from our courses will be the people who are actually delivering, who are actually involved in the construction and the retrofitting that is likely to take place under that funding. What we want to do is to be able to offer young people career choices that empower them and enable them to feel that there is a future for them, that the climate emergency doesn't draw a line under their futures, but it actually opens up opportunities for them, and that there are practical things that people can do. Hopefully, though it's one example of things that can come under the umbrella of the Green New Deal, that can contribute at a local level to making the green jobs for all a reality. So I'm very happy if anybody wants further information after today. My email address is there, and it'd be great to hear from people.
Thank you so much, Julie. That was so interesting to hear about all the amazing stuff that you're doing and how all these agendas can link up and be mutually supportive. That's really inspiring to see that work happening.